Hey gang, Jesse here at EC Auto Repair. Having a great time today. We're shooting these videos, giving y'all some laughs, I hope, giving you some education, giving you some things to hate on or like. You do you, and I'll do me. Fantastic. All right, so this vehicle is a Toyota Camry. It was used in the last video. It is not a GDI engine, okay? But we're gonna use our imagination. So if you don't have an imagination, imagine that you had an imagination, and so we're gonna pretend that this car is a GDI. Make sense? So the recommendation, because of the way the GDI engines are designed, on traditional engines like this, engines like your Ford Explorers, your Chevy pickups, different things like that, a naturally aspirated vehicle, which we've had for a very long time, there's the fuel injector and the spark plug and the valve. And so the fuel injector has always sat right above the valve, right? And whenever it sprays the fuel into the cylinder, what they learned is that fuel literally washed the carbon off of the valve, and it kept those valves nice and clean. So you could do an intake cleaning service every 30,000 miles or so. But if you didn't do it every 30,000 miles, it wasn't necessarily the end of the world, and it didn't necessarily destroy your engine. However, and especially Hyundai is one of the manufacturers that learned about this the hard way. There's been others too, but whenever through emission systems they came out with the GDI engine, which is gasoline direct injection, the big component change that happened in that is they moved the fuel injector below the valve. So what manufacturers did not know at the time was that whenever that fuel was going across the valve, it was literally keeping it washed off and never had carbon buildup. Well, after they moved in the gasoline direct injection engine, when they moved the injector below the valve, then what happened is there started being excessive carbon buildup on the valves, right? That carbon, once it got to a certain point, would literally chip off and it would fall on top of the piston. It would bounce inside the piston, inside the cylinder wall. It would fall over and get in between the piston and the cylinder walls, get down in the rings, and it would begin to scratch the side of the engine. This car would then begin to burn oil. Then it would either run out of oil and the engine would lock up, or it would just start burning oil excessively. So some of these engines would burn as much as like a quart every 1,000 miles or something like that. The oil consumption became pretty excessive. So there's a few different things that have happened that we've learned through the years, and other manufacturers have learned. But one of the services that is very mandatory on a GDI engine, and I say mandatory loosely, that is if you want to get the maximum life out of your vehicle. If you don't want to get the maximum life out of your engine, then you don't have to do this. It will fail very prematurely if you don't do this service. However, this tool here, we pour 2 cans of intake cleaner into this canister here. We're gonna hook this up to an orifice on the intake, and then this tool here, it hooks up to the throttle pedal, and the steering wheel. Okay, so this would go inside the cab. And then we hook up this tool. This is called a Revit tool. BG built this tool. This tool is an $800 tool. It's a Revit tool. And basically what it does is you hook this up right here like this. And this is hooked up to the steering wheel. The steering wheel to the throttle pedal. And then you plug this into the cigarette lighter so it has power, and you program which vehicle you're working on and what service you're doing and all that stuff. And this literally, and then you start the vehicle. We'll pull out the fuel pump relay so that it's running just on the intake cleaner. The 44K goes inside the fuel system, so it's cleaning out the inside of the fuel injectors. This is cleaning the carbon off of the valves. It's literally being inducted into the intake, so it's going across all the valves and it's going across the top. It's got the chemical composition that is heat activated, so as soon as the heat activates with it and it hits that carbon, it begins to disperse it and burn it off, break it off, crumble it off, where it's actually safe to be burned and it's not going to do damage to the engine, right? The vehicle will then rev up about every 10 to 12 seconds. It'll rev up to 2,000, 2,500, 2,800 RPM. And this service takes about 30 minutes to do. The last one I did, I timed it, it was exactly 27 minutes, right? But for instance, once upon a time I had a Hyundai car come in, it still had paper tags on it. This car did not even have 9,000 miles on it. Brand new car, 9,000 miles, people's on a cross-country trip. It goes into a reduced power mode. Check engine light comes on. They call me, I bring it into the shop. It's on a Saturday afternoon. We wasn't even open, but they're on a deadline on the trip, and so they're looking to get service after hours. I met them at the shop, and the best I could deduce is that the end of the fuel injectors was just completely carboned up. Car had 9,000 miles on it, right? So based on the codes we had, I said, let's do this service, right? So we did this service. I hooked up my Revit tool. I did this service. I hooked this up to where it went to on that particular car. 27 minutes later, the check engine light goes off and the full power is restored to the car. And what came out of the back of the exhaust was this, it smelled like burning styrofoam. The smell was unique. You could definitely smell that it was burning a lot of stuff off. Every time it would rev up, it would shoot out a bunch of black smoke. It would shoot out a bunch of stuff that wasn't supposed to be inside that car, right? Got them back on the road, the car ran perfectly. So every 15,000 miles, it's going to clean off the end of the injector. It's going to clean off the carbon that's building up on top of the valves, right? You do this service coupled with our 3-part oil change kit that we talk about. The EPR goes in there and it keeps those carbon cleaned off of the piston rings, okay? It cleans all that off. And then when we put the new oil in it with the MOA conditioner, that repels that carbon from building up. Not only just on the piston rings themselves, but also in all the other areas, like carbon buildup on the valve stem seals on the cylinder head on the valves, right? So the service, BG says to do it every 15,000 miles. Different manufacturers are going to have different recommendations. But what I do know from the real world, from real cars that are driving down the interstate, this lady that I'm telling you about that was in the Hyundai with 9,000 miles, I believe their trip started in Ohio and they was on their way to Arizona or somewhere like that. So they had made it about 1,000 miles from home. Still had paper tags, a brand new car, and there it is. It's in reduced power mode because the fuel injectors couldn't get the fuel out there. It was all carboned up. So hope it helps. We've had so many of the GDI engines. I've changed several of those engines out. One of them I changed out at 49,000 miles. The engine was completely toast. It had nothing left in it. Carbon had fell down. It had broken a ring. It was consuming oil. Engine locked up, right? Customer asked, well, why am I having to put an engine in at 49,000 miles? If you've got a GDI engine, I don't want you to have to go to your mechanic and say, why am I having to put in an engine so soon? Here's the flip side of that. I actually have a Hyundai Azera myself. It's a daily driver that we drive. The car has 188,000 miles, I believe, on it right now, on the original engine, the original change, the original everything, right? You know what we do? We run the really good oil in it. We run the 3-part kit, and we do this service on occasion, right? I haven't had any trouble with it, and that one is a GDI engine. So the difference is the proof is in the pudding. You can either take care of it or not take care of it. The choice is yours. But I find for most people, here's what I find. Most people actually, depending on what region of the United States you live in, but you could literally live in a house that your house is cheaper than your vehicle, right? For other people, their vehicle is probably the second largest investment they're going to make in their life, right? So why not invest a couple $100 here and there to take great care of it, to be a good steward of the vehicle that you've been entrusted with? Hope this helps. I know it did. I'll see you in the next video.